Guys, sorry, I had to do another video. While I was out, my toddler, he came in and he closed my laptop. So, video number 2. Alright, so I have my cylinder that we went over drawing, okay? And to make it more 3D, I outlined it in black so you guys could see it better. I grabbed my cup or mug of orange juice. Okay, my favorite drink. You guys can pick. It's basically just the color we're going to put in there. Right? But, so I am going to, take a sip of that. And before we start on adding in the juice on the inside, we're going to go in and we're going to add in just a little bit of shading. Okay, and I don't know how many of you had watched my video the first week that I was here earlier in February about shading and relaxing and how when you press down harder, it's a lot darker. And if you just start to press down really, really light and gentle, just so soft, it starts to get lighter and lighter. Okay, and you could do that with a crayon or oil pastels probably wouldn't work quite as well. I would say a crayon or a colored pencil. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to grab, or you can even just do a regular pencil. I'll do my regular pencil. And when I'm doing this, I find it easier to turn my paper sideways. Okay. But we talked about how when you have something that's more of a cylinder shape, it's usually a little bit darker on the sides, and then you have that like light that goes down the middle. So that's what we're going to try. And I find it easier to turn it this way because my hand goes better back and forth like this than it does like up and down like this. Okay. So, and you can, if you're doing colored pencils, you can pick a color, right? Like if you wanted to have your glass be a little bit blue or a little bit green or orange or red or what have you. But I'm just going to do pencil. Okay, and right in this front part, I'm not going to, you could do it in the back part too. But right in this front part, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to press down a little bit harder and start coloring in. Color, 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 color. And take that going across. You could press down even just a little bit harder. I decided to do it just a little bit darker right in here. But as we go down, we're going to get softer and softer and softer until we're just doing it oh so soft. Oh, so soft. Okay, and shading is also one of those things that you learn with time. Now, for you, those of you who are in like the 2nd and 3rd grades, or even those of you who are in kindergarten, if you, in 1st grade, if you want to try and make this look softer instead of like rough with all those pencil lines, you could get like a Q-tip or napkin or something. Or you can check out my extras page where I talk about you'd probably need an adult to help you to make a blending stump. But if you took like a Q-tip or something and you rub, 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 then that can help to, if you're using a pencil, it can help make it softer. It doesn't work quite as well with colored pencils though. Alright, I had some extra lines that came out. Oh, I'll erase those. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to make it darker. I'm going to press down just a little bit harder. You don't need to press down like super, super hard. You don't want your pencil or crayon to break. Okay, so I'm pressing down a little bit harder. And then I'm going to go softer and softer. More and more gentle. And the whole thing, top to bottom. Softer and softer and softer as I get towards the middle so that it fades. And I'll blend this so you can see it a bit better. Okay. You don't have to blend. It's just a fun little tidbit that I threw out there. Okay. I'm mostly just doing it so that you guys can see it a bit better. Right, so you see how now I have a shape that's a little bit darker on the edges and it's lighter going down the middle. Right, or you could also, let's see, you could also do that with, where did my colored pencils go? Colored pencils. So maybe if I wanted to try and add it a little bit of a blue tint. I'm going to do it again on the back. So I have another cylinder that's not shaded, and I'll show you again. So you can do it going up and down like this, right? I just find it easier to be able to move my hand back and forth like this. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to press down harder. Not so hard that I'm breaking it. You don't want to break your art supplies. But then as I go down, I get softer and softer and softer. And even if it's just a little ways down for just a little bit of shading, it helps make it look more curved and rounded. So I'll do it to the other side. Press down harder, and then as I go down, I'm going to get a little softer and softer and gentle, and just barely press down. Okay, and you can see that that also adds in just a little bit of shading. Okay, so I'll show you on both sides, but once we have our cup, then I'm going to go in, I'm going to draw my drink inside there. And you can see, right, we have this cup and it has that opening. That's like that flattened curve, like this one right here. And then right in here, we can see the curve that goes down for where the juice comes to the front of the cup, and then the curve that goes up and back for where the juice is on the back side of the cup. That's further away. So It's usually just as easy as going in and, let's see, I'm going to grab an orange crayon. Or, no, just kidding. I'll do it with a pencil first. I'm going to grab my pencil, and I'm going to do a downwards curve, like that top one. And an upwards curve, like a really squished oval inside of it. Sorry. Here, and I'll go in, I'll outline that with black. So it's a lot like this one, it's just down a little bit further in our glass. And that will be our drink inside of our glass. Right? So we can go in and we can add in, I'm going to do some orange. And when I'm doing my orange, I do it right on top of the other color because it's going to be tinted, right? I'm still going to see that. I still like to keep that brighter part that goes down because you can see that because it's still in that cylinder that there's still the reflection that goes down, right? So I'll maybe press down a little bit harder on the sides and get softer and softer in the middle. Oh, almost forgot about the top. Or you can start soft and press down harder. And I'm going to leave that brighter line that goes down the middle there. So you still can see it's in a cylinder, in a rounded shape, but now it has color for my juice, right? So maybe you like grape juice, you want to do purple, or maybe you like apple juice, and you want to do more of like a yellow color, or something like that. Okay, so I leave a little bit of strip of white going down. Okay, so there's my cup with my juice in it. You could do other fun things, like if you wanted to add in a handle, you can add in a handle. Except for that would be one line, so it'd be like a wire handle with a really heavy cup, right? So I would probably add in a second curve for my handle. Excuse me. But I wouldn't leave it blank like that. I would color it in. And this is almost like a cylinder, it's just bent, right? So I would still have the outside part be a little bit darker. I would have like a line going through it. So here, let me bring my mug over and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so you can see, oops, I kept that line, right? So here's my mug, and it's kind of like the cylinder shape, it's just that it's bent at the top and the bottom, right? It's a bit more rounded, straight on the sides, and that also has that highlight, the light, and the shadow to make it look more realistic and 3D. Okay, we're going to pause right there. All right, so we have this cup done. Now I'm going to show you again what I did, okay? On the back here. I had to pause it for a minute because I realized I had another class that I needed to go to. Okay, so now on the back here, same kind of thing, except for I used a Sharpie, so you can already kind of see where I'm going to add in my liquid. And this is showing through, so I might as well just add it in. Alright, so if you're using a pencil, again, the handle is more like a cylinder. I'll add this part too. Okay. It's more like a cylinder, it's just bent. So still darker on the outside edges. So I press down a little darker, a little harder. And then as I go in, I press down real soft, 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 soft. So soft, soft, soft. Same thing on the inside. Press down harder. And then towards the middle, I go soft, soft, soft. So soft. Like I'm just barely touching the page. Try to tickle it. Okay, give it a little bit. You want to grab like a napkin or something and rub it in so that it, or a Q-tip or a paintbrush. Right, you rub it in. You could do that. That one's a little bit more of an advanced thing, but I feel like you guys can see what I did better when I use that tool. And I want you to be able to see what I did. Okay, and then maybe for this one, instead of orange juice, maybe I want to do, maybe I want to do grape juice. Grape juice is yummy. Alright. So, another way you can color this in that I realized I kind of did last time but didn't explain very well is in that bottom circle. If you have that, you can just color that oval, color your top oval. And then on the sides, press down a little bit harder, and then softer and softer and softer and softer. And softer and softer and softer. And then on this side, I'll do the same thing. I'll press down harder on the outside edges. And softer and softer and softer and softer. And just leave that line going right down the middle. So it looks like it's round. Okay, and some of you guys might be like, this is great and I get it. And some of you might feel like it's a little bit harder. So if you have questions for me, don't be shy. Let me know or let your teacher know, and I can get back to you and answer your questions and help you out. Right, so this one would be like some grape juice. Now, just like with the cube, I like to color in the rest of this, right? Especially if there's a shadow. So the shadow for this would be a lot like the shadow that we had for our rectangular prism, right? Just depends on which way the light's shining. So usually I like to have it where like the light's back here so that the shadow comes down in front somewhere. And you could have a shadow, it would connect to the corners and it could go straight down or it could go off to the side, right? So if you had a shadow going straight down, you would do it from these two corners. But if you had a shadow coming from the side, since it's rounded, it would come from like that back side, right over here, off that way. So here, let me pick two colors again. I'm going to do oil pastels because those were easier to show you. So I'm going to say that my cup is on a wood surface. So I'm going to do browns. So I got like a dark brown to show you that my shadow is going to go this way. And I'm going to color that whole line. I like to just take it off the page because cups are usually tall. If it was something that was short, it would have like a little rounded shadow, excuse me. But this is tall, so I'm just going to take it all the way off the page. I'm going to color that part with my darker brown. Color, 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 color. Okay. And then, since it's a shadow, it's going to be darker. And around it, I'll do a lighter brown. Right, so maybe over right in here. And on the other side. Or if you want to make it darker with one color, you would just press down really hard in this area and then soft around it. Kind of how we press down hard on the sides and soft in the middle. Okay? You can add in patterns behind it on the wall, like stripes or dots or something, to show that it has something behind it. Alright, so let's see, I'm going to color that in. You can see the shadow going down, and then I'm going to go in and do, maybe I'll just do those stripes again. Right, some stripes going behind it. So it looks like there's a wall back there. Whoops. There we go. Got my cup of grape juice. Or if you did it the other way, you know, I would do the same kind of thing on this side. Maybe a shadow going this way instead, or straight down. Okay, well, have fun with your cups of juice or whatever drink is your favorite. And I'll post a fun video where we can look at the shadow box and just look at the lighting and where the shadow goes. Totally don't have to look at it, but if you want to, you can. Okay? Happy drawing. Bye, guys.